All right. Who's ready for some basketball? Here we are, early. It feels weird to be talking to you at noon on a Sunday of all days, but we are here. We are ready. Wait, hold on. We are literally here. We here. Um, so, couple updates before we get into this, and I will obviously take a lot of questions. We already have something. Michael S. Macri, how are we doing, my guy? We need this win today. Yes, we do. Biggest game of the series for sure. If we don't see a strong appearance from Randle today, I'm not sure we ever will. Bless up. Yes, Joshua Ford. Well said. So for anybody who hasn't heard, the Knicks are sticking with the same starting lineup. As anticipated, I did not think that we would change. David Futternick up early. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Oh, man. Have you even had your coffee yet, David Futternick? Is there some Jameson in that coffee? I guess maybe it would be the better question. Yeah, same starting lineup. Just finished with the Tibbs presser a little while ago. I would say the unequivocal tone. Michael Aaron's daughter is fighting her nap right now. Definitely anxious. We're all anxious. I'll get to that in a second. The unequivocal tone, Bloody Mary coming up for tip-off. Very nice. The unequivocal tone for Tibbs in this presser was, listen, let's just relax, play basketball. You could definitely get a sense that he felt, I think, like Julius was overthinking things. I got the sense that he felt like the team maybe was playing a little, not the way they've played all year. If you're open, shoot the ball. If you got two guys on the ball, pass the ball. Keep it simple. That was literally, he said, keep it simple. What are you looking for? Oh, yeah, it's in the car. My wife and daughter are going to pick up lunch because they're awesome. And he was asked a couple questions. He was asked by Ian Begley and then Yaron Weissman about attacking Trae Young. Why haven't they attacked Trae Young more? What have they been doing? And he gave a standard answer, but you could also tell, not that he was annoyed by the questions, but you could tell, from the tone, he's like, look, we're trying to do what we can here. I did think the most interesting part of his response was, he didn't actually say it, but I'm going to reference what he said. We've done a lot of dribble handoffs. We've done the random pick and roll with them, and they're trying to keep the matchup. He didn't say Reggie Bullock's name specifically, but it was definitely in reference to, look, they're trying to keep Trae Young on Reggie Bullock, which I found interesting that he would say that, because, it crystallizes what we're seeing, which is that Reggie Bullock is not the personnel to take advantage of the matchup with Trae Young. And then you try to get into switches and things, which, again, he's saying that they're trying to do. We'll see. Do they try to go to it more today? I guess we'll find out. Nervous energy. How are we feeling going into this? I am most certainly nervous. As I've said on the last pod, I think I said on the last live stream, post, whatever, I guess post, this team has all year come up big when we thought that the good times were over. You could go back to even game 3, the game against the Bucks, when they started off 0-2. And don't forget, this was before any of this season happened. They started off 0-2 against Indiana and Philadelphia, and then they had the home game against Milwaukee before a 4-game road trip against Cleveland, who was then 3-0, Toronto, who had just made it to the conference finals, at Indiana again, and then at Atlanta, and then Utah, OKC, and Denver. So you were staring at it in the face, and then they go in and they beat Milwaukee, and then they beat Cleveland. They end up falling to whatever it was, I think 3-5. They roll off another win streak. The Boston game, the Memphis game, the last 3 games of the season, every time this team has been challenged this year with a must-win game. They have come through with a good performance. I think they're going to come through with a good performance tonight. I know I'm sound like a broken record at this point. I think Julius Randle is going to have a big game somehow, some way. He just needs to play free and easy. That's all there is. We have our first super chat comment of the day, of course, from Dom Cappuccini. Thank you, Dom, for always being very generous on here. I feel good with our chances. With that said, Julius and RJ absolutely have to wake up. In particular, Julius. If things continue, this will be over by Wednesday or Friday. No shame in this season. If so, it is what it is. I'm going to be very transparent with you guys because you guys we're all friends here, right? We're all friends. I want to win this game today because I want to win this series. I want to win the series because I want to win the series. I want to win the series because I think if they somehow win this series, it will bode well for them this offseason in terms of the sorts of things that maybe are opportunities that might be available to them. But mostly I want them to win this game and take this series to 6 or 7 games because I do not want to deal with an offseason full of questions about what do we pay Julius Randle? Should we pay Julius Randle? Should we trade Julius Randle? Well, we can right now. Will anybody still wants him? Is he not a big game player? Was this all fool's gold? Is RJ Barrett part of the young core? Does RJ Barrett suck? Is RJ Barrett this, that, and the other thing? I don't want to deal with any of that shit. I am a curmudgeon-y, old, almost 40-year-old podcast host, and I just want to talk about what I want to talk about, and what I don't want to talk about is any of that nonsense. I love the positivity of this season. I want to keep it positive. I do not want to go down that road. So, yes, I want to win the game, but in particular, I just want Julius and RJ to a lesser extent because RJ's 20. If anybody takes anything he does or doesn't do this series as indicative of what he's going to be as a player long term, I think that's foolish. But with Julius, I think it is important that Julius cannot go down like this because otherwise those talking points and those narratives will be there. And you know what? You know who amongst us is to say whether that's fair or unfair. But they're going to be there, whether he likes it or not. So, I don't want to have to deal with it. So there you go. Just being honest, guys. Don Cappuccini. In addition, thank you again, Dom. Still very thankful for this matchup, opposed to being a 6 versus Milwaukee. Yeah, I don't know the way they've played in this series, the Knicks I'm talking about, and then the way the Bucks played against the Heat. I'm not sure if the Knicks would have gotten a game off of that team because that team is really good. Let me get to some of the other comments here in the chat. I saw a question from above. Macri, did they make a mistake by starting Derrick Rose? No, God no. Here's the argument for you to say. First of all, they needed to get Peyton out of the starting lineup. That's for sure. The argument against starting Derrick Rose and the argument for starting Burks instead of Rose would have been like, okay, let's say Burks was in the starting lineup instead. I don't think they would have started as well. I think they would have gotten down 6, 8, 10 points. Rose would have come in. Maybe he would have been able to get things back against the Hawks second unit. And then maybe things would have been rolling more as opposed to when he came back in the middle of the second quarter along with Julius. Was it kind of tougher for them to kind of, I don't know, get their mojo back? I mean, something happened at the end of that second quarter. I don't know what it was, but whatever it wasn't great. It's an argument. And again, this is coming from the guy who wanted to start Alec Burks. I don't think you could point to them starting Rose and say that's the reason they lost the game. I think the reason they lost the game is because everybody who wasn't Derrick Rose combined to hit 16 field goals in 48 minutes. It's not what you want. That's why they lost the game. And hopefully that doesn't happen again. So we'll see what happens. What else we got? Charlie Koenig. Should we try to get Randle the ball deeper in the post rather than the perimeter? Seems like he's struggling to get to his spots off the dribble. Well, they're playing him a little differently. They tried to do some different things with Randle. Here's what Randle isn't. Randle's not a post-up guy. Randle's never been a post-up guy. He's a guy that has finished, through contact. He's been a difficult finisher all throughout his career. He has not done well finishing this season in particular. and he has not obviously done well finishing in this series. I think Tibbs said it best today. They just got to do what got them here. Now is not the time to switch up what got you to 41 wins, what got you a 4 seed, what got you home court advantage. Just trust what got you here and continue to do that. I think if they do that, that's their best shot of winning this game and winning this series. You just gotta be confident. And I know that sounds trite, but it's also true. David Fundernick with a question. Now that Rose is leading the starters, who needs to be the guy with the ball in his hands in the second unit, Burks or IQ? Leaving RJ in with that unit and try to get him cooking. Yeah, this was something that came up. Thank you for the question, David Fundernick. This is something that came up on the locker room yesterday. Right after I just got done saying, do what you've done all year. I think that pertains to play style. I don't think you should try to change how individual players are trying to play. But I do think you could adjust the lineups. And one thing that I would like to see is perhaps maybe give RJ a quicker hook. Unless he has it going, then whatever. But if RJ, starts off the game and, it's not very clear that he kind of has it rolling, maybe take RJ out at around the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Bring in Quickly then. So you get Quickly with Rose and with Randle, along with the center. And if you want to, bring in Reggie or bring in Burks for Reggie or whatever. And then reinsert RJ at the beginning of the second quarter to help spearhead your second unit, along with Quickly, Burks, Toppin, and whoever the center is at that point. I guess it would probably be Noel because we're going with Taj as the starter again. I think it's interesting that they've really kind of taken the ball out of RJ's hands inside the arc in this series, which I get because RJ has been struggling for a while. But at the same time, does he need that to get himself going both inside the arc and behind the arc? I don't know. But to me, it's worth a shot because right now he's not helping them. The numbers are pretty clear. It's not great. And I'm not sure that they can win this series if they don't get him going. We'll see. We got another super chat comment here. Junk Heart Athens. Athens, Greece, Athens, Georgia. I guess we'll left to guess. This game is ours, Jonathan. I hope so. I feel it all the way here in Greece. Greece, great. Hey, shout out to Greece. What time is it over there? I guess it's later. I guess it's nighttime in Greece. So good evening to you. Randle, wake up game. Let's go Knicks. Love it. Thank you for joining us all the way from across the pond. What else we got here? We got the new Knicks with a Y saluting me. Well, salute right back to you. New York City Rich, this series makes me miss Mitch so much. I think I replied to somebody's tweet the other yesterday or the day before saying I think if Mitch was in this series, there is a non-zero chance that we would be up 3-0. I think Mitch is that important, not only as a lob threat, but defensively, I think he would just change the entire complexion of the series. I have not really commented on his Instagram post. Let me play or whatever it is. Seemed to indicate he was ready to go. We'll see. He's out for today, but heck, Brizos, they're using RJ like Reggie. Yeah, they are, and it hasn't worked. Michael Aaron, what's going on, Michael? I hope your daughter takes her nap. Any idea why they're not attacking Trae? He's by far the worst defender on the floor, and if they send a second defender to help, then we have a man open. Again, if you listen to Tom Thibodeau, I will not paraphrase. I will just literally read the words that he said. We've done that. And the question was, why are you not attacking Trae more? And he said, we've done that. And then he said, we've done a lot of dribble handoffs. We've done the random pick and roll with them. But they're trying to keep the matchup. We're rescreening with him. Like, I think because it's not obvious, as opposed to like Trae's man coming up Reggie, let's call it like it is, Reggie Bullock coming up, dragging Reggie to the top of the arc and putting him in a high pick and roll in which you're trying to get that switch. Traditionally, over the years, when we've seen teams try to attack players, the most classic example, obviously, is LeBron James trying to attack Steph Curry in whatever it was, 3 or 4, I forget how many straight finals those teams played in. I guess, what was it, 4 straight finals or 3 straight finals, whatever. I'm losing track. That's what we saw. We saw, them try to get that switch. But there are ways around that. You could go under the screen, but the fact is that the Knicks haven't done that much. They've according to Tibbs, they're doing other stuff. I think they're trying to stick to their offense. I don't think that they've resorted to that as much as they could have in whatever way Tibb wants to do it. I guess my question is, like, are they saving that? Does Tibbs feel like he has to have his back up against the wall, like he did obviously before Game 2 when he started Derrick Rose, or Game 3, I guess, before he started Derrick Rose, or put in, Rose with the starters at the start of the second half of Game 2? We'll see. We'll find out soon enough. But I think it's a good question. It's very valid. And if they lose this game today, and it makes it clear that they have not attacked Derrick Rose throughout this game, Trae Young throughout this game, I think we're gonna see it. Okay. J. Jane, can we bring Frank into the game? I would be okay with bringing Frank into the game for 5 or so minutes, just to try to throw a different look at Trae Young. They're not gonna, obviously. I did not think the correct move was to start him, and I still don't think the correct move was to start him. But yeah, I'd be okay with that. I don't think you're going to see it though. That's my guess. In a back to the wall game, you got to win. I just don't see Tibbs doing that unless someone's in foul trouble or whatever the case may be. We got Tyrone Lue here. Knicks fans, just wave the white flag. It's over. Look at the bright side. You'll have more time to come up with gay chants judging another man's hair. That's quite a comment from an Atlanta fan here. Hey, listen, our chat is being infiltrated by Hawks fans. I guess that's the ultimate sign of respect. Tyler Michaels, unless things go really bad in the first quarter, we won't see Frank, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree. I just, even if things do go really bad, I'm not sure we're going to see Frank. I think Tibbs would just sooner, kind of go back to what has worked at times. Tyrone Lue is timed out for Andrew Claudio. Very good job, Andrew. I appreciate that. Hawks fans are so embarrassing. I've made fun of how many Brooklyn fans are out there. I think there's probably fewer Hawks fans. Let us not forget, there have been some before pre-pandemic, some shall we say embarrassing crowds at State Farm Arena in terms of representation. But what can you do? It's Atlanta. Hang on one sec. Aaron, do you want white rice?
Yes.
Sorry, my wife is picking up food. Real time live streaming, folks. You're good. And my friend is here visiting to watch the game with me, which is very exciting. Dolores Cusimano-Macri in the chat. Call your wife. This is just spectacular. This is just wonderful. I'm loving every second of this. Eshwin Varghese, I want the Knicks to make it to the second round so we can see the ultimate trolling rivalry between Embiid and Knicks fans at MSG. That would be fun. I'd like to see some trolling. I'm down with that. I would like the challenge. I'd like to see if they could take a couple of games off Philly, but we'll see if that happens. Other questions, other comments. I wish I had more to say for this game, other than they just got to be better. Like the team that we saw. Here's what I'll say. The team that we saw in Game 3, that was not the Knicks team that we've been accustomed to seeing all year. I thought the team that we saw in games 1 and 2, like, it was an approximation of the team that we saw all year. I didn't feel that way in game 3. And maybe Rose taking such a lion's share of the offense early on was what threw them off. But whatever it was, that was not the team that we saw. We have to see the team today that we've been accustomed to seeing all year. I love how everybody – this is fantastic. Everybody's getting in on my friend's poke order. This is really great. Heck, Brizo, the game 3 was an anomaly. I agree with that. Game 3 was indeed an anomaly. Carlos Cordero asked for some words of encouragement. All right, you want some words of encouragement? Here's my words of encouragement. And this is the last thing I'll say. Oh, hi from Pakistan. Hi, Pakistan. Words of encouragement. Julius Randle was an all-NBA player this year. You don't get to be an all-NBA player by accident. He's put in – it's not just a summer's worth of work that he put in to become this player. This is why I brought it up on the locker room yesterday, but it's not a fair comparison. I brought up Pascal Siakam after he had a second-team All-NBA season last year. It was terrible in the playoffs. It was an embarrassment in the playoffs. I don't think this is the same thing because, Pascal Siakam did not have the same road to the NBA that Julius Randle had. Julius Randle was at the top of his recruiting class all the way through, went to Kentucky, where the spotlight was on him as much as any team, player, whatever in the country. Top 7 draft pick, went to the Lakers, played for the Lakers with Kobe freaking Bryant, came to New York to play for the Knicks, knowing everything that was going to come. He's going to be ready. I know he is not, he's shot under 30% for the series. If there was ever a guy that I was confident was not going to let the last 3 games get to him, it's him. And you know how why I even feel that? There was a moment, I think it was in the 3rd quarter of the last game, where Julius hit a 3. It was the only 3 he hit in the second half. And he came back up the court, and he was just – and I think I referenced this after the game. He was just shaking his head like, man, what is wrong with me? I could do that every time down the court. I've done that every time down the court this season. And it just like – to me, that was not the look of a guy who was lost in his own head. That was not the look of a guy who had lost confidence. That was the look of a guy who's like, fuck, I know I could figure this out. I am on the verge of figuring this out. And I do think he is on the verge of figuring this out. To a slightly lesser but similar extent, I think RJ is a guy who plays with a ton of confidence, and I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we look back on this series as a microcosm of RJ Barrett's season, which is to say, come out, struggle early, with some signs here a little bit, and then finish up strong. So I have not lost faith in Julius. I have not lost faith in RJ. I certainly have not lost faith in the Knicks defense. Again, I'll say it for anybody who missed it after the last game. I'll say it now. To me, the biggest sign of confidence that I have in their defense is the fact that they gave up 59% from 3 in the last game, and they only gave up 105 points to a team at home. That to me is a sign that your defense is doing something right. And I do think their defense is doing something right. I think their defense has a plan. I think they've executed the plan for the most part. Could be a little better. Could be a little bit more intense. Could a little bit cleaner. All of those things, yes. And I do think that they will come out with a greater sense of intensity and purpose and all of that stuff. Now, could the Hawks hit a few more shots? Yes, the Hawks are capable of hitting even a few more shots. But like, how can you look at a 59% shooting performance and be like, they're going to do that much better than that? Because I don't think they can. A couple more comments here in the super chat, and then we get out of here. Patrick Della Pena. Hey, Macri, love the content. Love you, Patrick. Thank you. Do you think we see the Knicks target Trae Young in the pick and roll more today? Yeah, in the second half. I think more in the second half. I don't think they're going to come out and do it right out of the gate because I think they're confident enough in what they do normally. And I think they want to try to establish that. If their back's up against the wall in the second half, yeah, I think we'll start to see it. Benji Isse, no matter how this series goes, thank you for making this season 10 times better. Oh my God, I don't know about 10 times better. I'm just happy I haven't made it worse for all of us, John. Let's go Knicks. Thank you so much. That's really beyond kind, and I appreciate it. Harry Donert, thank you so much for your contribution to the Super Chat. It comes in here and just contributes every time. Thank you. And Leon C. Probably won't see it this series, but OB4 Julius 5 could be an interesting wrinkle moving forward. Tuning in from the Philippines. Shout out to you. Big fan of the Philippines here in the Macri household. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'll say this. I wouldn't rule it out. I really wouldn't rule anything out. For as much as I loved Noel getting to the free throw line, hitting all those free throws last game, I don't know how much they lose by going Obi at the 4, Randle at the 5 during the minutes that Clint Capella is not in the game. And that's the key. During the minutes that Clint Capella is not in the game. Again, if their backs are up against the wall at some point this series, wouldn't be shocked if we get that. And who knows? Maybe it's today. I hope not. I hope their backs are not against the wall today. I hope they come out there and establish the tone early on. Wouldn't be shocked if they did. Wouldn't be shocked if they did. Nothing would surprise me today other than a blowout. I do not think we're getting a blowout today. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to come down to the very end. I think they're going to win it. Andrew Claudio, I'm going to echo what you said. Thank you for tuning in. Deep breaths. Taking deep breaths today all the way through. I think they're going to win this game. Let's go. Cutlets on cutlets. I do have some cutlets in the fridge. I'm saving them for post game. I will eat a chicken cutlet on the post game live stream if they win. If they win, I can't. If they lose, I can't celebrate with a cutlet. I have a feeling I'm going to be eating a cutlet though. I got a funny feeling. Score prediction. Okay. As my daughter's losing her shit. Score prediction. 112. 107. Giddy up. All right. See everybody later.